Let me tell you something about marriage and family. Two things everybody wants, but not everybody understands. Folks stand up in front of a crowd, smiling real big, holding flowers, looking like they just stepped out of a magazine shoot. And that's all good. Love should feel magical. But marriage is where the real work begins. And if you don't walk into it with the right mindset, you'll walk right back out wondering what happened. Building a marriage on honesty, realistic expectations, and daily effort begins with understanding that love isn't something that survives on its own. It's fueled by what you pour into it and what you choose to show up with every day. Honesty is the first pillar because without it, the whole foundation cracks quietly from the inside. When two people commit to each other, they're committing to a truth-based partnership. Not a perfect one, not a fairy tale, not a social media highlight reel kind of love, just an honest one. And honesty isn't only about telling the truth, it's also about living in truth, being open about how you feel, where you struggle, what you need, what you fear, and what you hope for. When honesty is present, trust becomes stronger, arguments become clearer, and solutions become easier to build. But when you hide things, your feelings, your mistakes, your weaknesses, you slowly create a distance that starts small but grows into walls that feel impossible to break down. Realistic expectations are another piece people often overlook. Most enter marriage expecting ease. They expect romance every day, agreement on everything, smooth conversations, perfect compatibility, and a constant feeling of excitement. But real marriage doesn't play by those rules. Marriage is made of seasons. Some seasons feel like sunshine, some feel like storms, and some feel like quiet rebuilding. When you expect perfection, you end up disappointed by normal human flaws. When you expect your partner to always make you happy, you forget they're also trying to figure out life just like you. The truth is, nobody can meet every expectation, and no marriage is healthy if it's filled with silent scoreboards and constant comparisons. Realistic expectations allow room for mistakes, for imperfections, for learning curves, and for growth. They create an environment where both people can breathe without feeling like they're constantly failing. They teach you that marriage is not two perfect people loving each other flawlessly, but two imperfect people choosing each other through every flaw. Daily effort is the glue that holds everything together. You can't build a strong marriage with occasional effort. You can't build closeness on birthdays and anniversaries alone. A marriage grows through the tiny moments, checking in, being kind even when tired, apologizing even when pride wants to stand tall, being patient even when irritated, showing love even when frustrated. Daily effort is about choosing the relationship over ego. It's about protecting peace in the home instead of winning every argument. It's about learning your partner's emotional language, their love language, the things that make them feel valued, and then practicing those things intentionally. Effort is not grand gestures, it's the quiet consistency that gives the relationship a stable heartbeat. When honesty, expectations, and effort combine, they create security, a feeling that you can be yourself without fear, that you can speak without walking on glass, that you can dream without being judged, that you can fail without feeling alone. Security is one of the most powerful forces in a marriage because it turns the relationship into a safe place rather than a battlefield. When a partner feels safe, they open up more, they trust more, they love more, and they show up with their whole self rather than the edited version. But security only exists when both people know that truth is welcomed, not punished, that mistakes are confronted, not thrown like weapons, that effort is appreciated, not ignored. Building a strong marriage also requires emotional honesty, the willingness to express hurt before it turns into resentment, to speak needs before they turn into frustration, and to be vulnerable even when vulnerability feels uncomfortable. Many marriages struggle not because the love is gone, but because the communication stopped, the honesty faded, and the effort fell apart. Emotional honesty allows you to say, "This bothered me," or "I need reassurance," or "I feel disconnected," without it turning into a fight. It invites understanding rather than conflict. And when two people can talk about difficult things without tearing each other down, they create a deeper connection that can survive anything. Realistic expectations also include understanding that your partner is not responsible for healing wounds they didn't create. Marriage is not a place to dump unresolved pain and expect your spouse to fix it. It's a place to grow together, not a place to blame each other for scars from the past. When you expect your partner to fill every emotional gap in your life, you place an impossible burden on them. But when you choose to do your own inner work and bring your healthiest self to the relationship, the marriage becomes lighter, stronger, and more joyful. Daily effort includes grace, the ability to forgive, to move forward, and to not keep replaying the same arguments. Effort is not only what you do physically, it's also what you choose mentally. Choosing to think positively, choosing not to assume the worst, choosing to believe in the relationship instead of doubting it, choosing to see your partner's intentions rather than only their mistakes. Every day offers a choice to build or to break, and strong marriages are built by choosing to build over and over again. Prioritizing family unity through communication and shared responsibility begins with understanding that a family does not become strong automatically. Unity is something that has to be created on purpose. It comes from the way people talk to each other, listen to each other, and show up for one another. Families grow closer when communication becomes honest, open, and respectful, not only during peaceful moments, but especially during stressful ones. When a family learns how to communicate without tearing each other down, problems become challenges to solve together instead of battles to win alone. Communication is not just about words, it is also about presence. It's sitting with someone when they are hurting, learning how to read the silence, paying attention to the small changes, and knowing how to ask questions that show real concern instead of judgment. A family built on communication creates an environment where each member feels safe to speak, safe to express emotion, and safe to be vulnerable without feeling embarrassed or misunderstood. Communication also means understanding the different personalities within a family. Every person communicates in their own way. Some speak loudly because they're passionate, some speak softly because they're cautious, some shut down because they've never felt truly heard, some repeat themselves because they feel ignored. Unity comes from learning these patterns rather than taking them personally. When a family learns each other's emotional languages, misunderstandings decrease and compassion increases. People stop reacting in anger and start responding with patience. They stop assuming intentions and start asking questions that reveal the real story. Communication becomes a bridge that holds everyone together. Shared responsibility is the next step because no family stays strong if only one person is carrying the load. Whether it's raising children, handling finances, making decisions, or caring for the home, unity happens when the effort is shared. Too many homes fall apart not because of lack of love, but because of imbalance. When one person feels like they are doing everything, emotionally, financially, or physically, resentment starts building quietly. It doesn't always show up in arguments. Sometimes it shows up in silence, withdrawal, or exhaustion. But when responsibilities are balanced, every member feels valued and respected. Nobody feels like a servant, and nobody feels like they're invisible. Shared responsibility teaches teamwork, and teamwork creates unity that is hard to break. In a strong family, responsibilities are not based on gender or tradition. They're based on fairness, capacity, and love. Helping each other is not a burden, but a contribution to the health of the home. Children learn the meaning of contribution when they see parents working together instead of arguing about who does more. Spouses learn to appreciate each other more deeply when they understand what the other carries daily. The home becomes lighter when everyone pulls their share of the weight. And when someone is struggling, the others step in, not because it's their job, but because it's their family. Communication and shared responsibility also create emotional unity. When a family talks about their struggles, goals, and fears openly, they stop living parallel lives and start living connected ones. Emotional unity means celebrating wins together and facing losses together. It means creating a space where no one feels isolated. It means checking in with each other not just when something is wrong, but as a natural part of daily life. Unity is built in moments like sitting at the table together, sharing stories, asking how the day went, listening to what isn't being said, and giving reassurance when someone looks tired or overwhelmed. These small interactions build emotional closeness that cannot be replaced by gifts or grand gestures. Shared responsibility is also about emotional labor, the unseen work of maintaining stability, offering encouragement, resolving small conflicts, and creating harmony. Emotional labor often goes unnoticed, but it is essential to unity. When only one person handles the emotional climate of the home, they burn out quickly. But when everyone contributes, by being thoughtful, kind, proactive, and attentive, the atmosphere becomes lighter and healthier. Families grow stronger when members learn to say things like, "How can I help?" or "I've got this today," or "You look stressed. Let me take some weight off your shoulders." Communication doesn't only happen when things are going wrong. It also happens when families talk about dreams, goals, and plans. A united family looks toward the future together. They discuss where they want to go, what kind of home they want to create, what values they want to pass down to the children, and how they want to support each other's ambitions. When these conversations happen regularly, every person feels included and important. People work harder when they feel they are part of something meaningful. Unity also grows through transparency. Secrets create distance. Hidden emotions create confusion, but openness brings clarity. When family members are transparent about their needs, their stresses, their financial concerns, and their expectations, it becomes easier to support each other. No one is left guessing, assuming, or feeling alone in their struggles. A strong family does not avoid conflict. It handles conflict with maturity. Communication teaches them how to talk through disagreements without tearing down the relationship. Shared responsibility teaches them to see problems as a team effort rather than an individual burden. And together, these habits turn challenges into opportunities to strengthen the bond rather than break it. Unity is not created in a single moment. It's built through thousands of small choices. Listening when you want to argue, helping when you want to ignore, speaking gently when you feel frustrated, showing up even when you're tired, and loving even when emotions are complicated. Protecting the home by choosing love, discipline, and intentional leadership begins with understanding that a family cannot thrive in chaos. A home needs direction, warmth, and boundaries. Without these three, the house becomes just a building where people sleep, not a place where they grow. Protection isn't only about keeping danger out, it's also about keeping peace in. It's about creating an atmosphere where every person feels safe emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Choosing love means choosing kindness when frustration rises, choosing connection when distance sets in, and choosing compassion when misunderstandings try to divide the household. Love is a decision long before it is a feeling, and protecting the home starts with this decision every single day. Love stabilizes the environment. It teaches children how to treat others, how to handle conflict, how to apologize, and how to express affection without fear. Love is the tone setter of the entire home. Discipline is the second layer of protection, not the harsh, fear-based kind, but the structure that teaches accountability, responsibility, and respect. Discipline gives children a framework for understanding consequences and boundaries. It keeps a family grounded. Without discipline, the home becomes unpredictable. Rules are unclear, expectations shift constantly, and people start acting from emotion instead of principle. Discipline is not punishment, it's guidance. It shows children that actions matter, that words have weight, and that every choice has an outcome. It also protects the adults in the home from burnout. When discipline is consistent, parents don't have to repeat themselves endlessly. There is a shared understanding of what is acceptable and what isn't. This kind of stability creates peace, and peace is one of the highest forms of protection a home can have. Intentional leadership is what ties everything together. Every home needs leadership, not dictatorship, not control, not dominance, but guidance with clarity, strength, and purpose. Leadership is about modeling the values you want everyone else to follow. It is about showing patience when tensions rise, demonstrating humility when mistakes happen, and offering direction when confusion enters the picture. A home falls apart quickly when there's no leadership. Decisions are inconsistent, emotions dictate the atmosphere, and unresolved issues start piling up. But when even one person commits to leading with calmness, maturity, and wisdom, the entire energy of the home shifts. Leadership does not mean having all the answers. It means being willing to take responsibility for the direction the family moves in. Protecting the home requires emotional leadership as well. This means understanding when someone is overwhelmed, sensing when silence is a sign of struggle, and recognizing patterns that need attention. Emotional leadership prevents problems from growing in the dark. It allows conversations to happen before resentment builds, before distance widens, and before small issues become big ones. It teaches children to identify their feelings and express them in healthy ways. It ensures that no one in the household feels ignored or invisible. Families grow stronger when someone in the home is committed to keeping emotional stability a priority. Choosing love also means choosing forgiveness. A home cannot stay protected if grudges are held like weapons. People make mistakes, sometimes big ones, but love shows patience. It allows room for correction and growth. Forgiveness doesn't erase the issue, but it creates a path forward. Without forgiveness, the home becomes a museum of old arguments. Every room holds a memory of tension, and every conversation becomes heavy. Forgiveness clears the air, lightens the heart, and rebuilds trust slowly but surely. Children who grow up seeing forgiveness learn empathy. They learn that relationships can recover, that people deserve second chances, and that communication has the power to heal. Discipline also applies to adults, not just children. Protecting the home means disciplining yourself to avoid reacting in anger, choosing your words carefully, and pausing before escalating a conflict. It means being disciplined in time management, finances, and priorities. It's easy for adults to slip into patterns that destabilize the home: lack of communication, emotional withdrawal, impulsive decisions, or inconsistency. But self-discipline allows you to show up as the steady force the family needs. It helps you stay accountable to the promises you've made and the values you want to uphold. Intentional leadership means planning for the future of the family. It means thinking about the long-term impact of decisions, conversations, behaviors, and habits. It involves creating traditions, setting standards, and establishing routines that bring the family closer. Leadership also means protecting the home from external influences that bring negativity, whether that's toxic people, unnecessary stress, or habits that slowly erode the health of the household. A leader notices when the atmosphere is shifting and addresses it before it becomes damaging. A leader takes responsibility even when it's uncomfortable. Protecting the home is not always loud or heroic. Sometimes it's in the simple choices: the calm tone used during a disagreement, the patience offered during a stressful moment, the presence given when someone needs comfort, the discipline to remain fair, the humility to apologize first, and the strength to set boundaries when they're needed. Protection is choosing to maintain peace even when ego wants to win. It is choosing to prioritize the relationship over being right. It is choosing to step back from arguments that lead nowhere and walking towards solutions that keep the family connected. Love, discipline, and leadership create an environment where children learn security, adults feel supported, and relationships grow sturdier with time. When these three work together, the home becomes a place of refuge instead of tension, a place of growth instead of conflict, a place of nurture instead of fear.